Hey guys, Questionable Lock here, joined by Brandon Deutsch. Going to go through our mock drafts. Going to go 1 through 32. We have kind
Yep.
of a similar top 10, but definitely gets a little different when we go 20 to 32. Uh, Brandon, I don't know if you have anything to say to start or some of your biggest risers and fallers in this draft. Just fill me in.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been pretty adamant as a 49er fan and knowing the system, knowing Shanahan, like I knew they were going to take Fields the whole time, even with the media saying Mac Jones, directing all this traffic to Mac Jones, which was obviously an elite smokescreen to make the Jets, if they had any second thoughts about Wilson to take Fields. It worked. People still say Mac Jones, 98% sure. I mean, it's Mac Jones and it's not.
It's definitely not going to be Mac Jones.
It's not
No way.
Mac Jones. It's Justin Fields, and I think that's a great fit. So, I mean, I've been pretty adamant about having that the whole time. Biggest riser. Oh man, I mean, I've just been pretty consistent. I mean, this is my first mock draft, so when I've been scouting these players and looking at their tape and watching these players, I mean, I think it's the same with you. Rashawn Slater has really stood out a lot. He's an O lineman that's originally I thought was leaps and bounds behind Sewell, but is really close, if not better than Sewell, who is arguably one of the best O lineman prospects in the last couple of years and peeping a lot of scouts' mind. So I think if you choose either of those O linemen, you can go. Neither of them are wrong. Um, but yeah, I mean that's just how I see it. What about you? Any big risers in your mock draft?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to say Kentucky linebacker Jamin Davis, and hopefully I'm not saying the name wrong. But just after watching tape on him, I didn't even have him in my first, the first maybe 15 picks of the second round. And after just watching his tape at Kentucky and with 3 interceptions last year, we'll talk more about his stats later. I just feel like he could be a valuable addition to the linebacker class in the first round.
I agree. He's in my first round too. Many people
Yeah.
have Kevin Collins ahead of him. I don't. I have the opposite. I think the Kentucky linebacker is really good, but we'll get into that. So
Yeah, let's get
yeah,
into it now. So with further
yeah,
ado, we're both going to just keep going back and forth with our mocks. And how about you start with the honors? I already know, I think, what you're going to say with number one. So
yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguars selecting. Who do you think they got?
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I mean, the Sports Illustrated article, which was really well done. I actually respect Lawrence more after that because he cares more than just about football. He seems like a very nice guy. He got married to his high school sweetheart. He seems like he has good morals. Not saying that if you're not marrying your high school sweetheart, screw you. No, I mean, everyone has their different path in life, but he seems like a really good dude and he's focused on a lot more than football, which tells me, like Andrew Luck, he's super smart and able to dissect the game, um, build relationships off of the field, which I heard he's very good at. And he's obviously the most talented QB prospect since Luck, in my opinion. So, I mean,
100%.
all 30.
Oh, and Brandon, you froze right there. But just going back off of what you said about Andrew Luck, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me. Connection issues, but
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah. Well, I was
he
just saying all 32 teams would draft Lawrence. I don't know if you got
Oh,
that or
100%. 100%. I
yeah.
mean, he does offer intangibles that I think Luck definitely had. I mean, he's quick, he's big, he's 6'6". I think he was like 205 pounds, but he's going to get back to 230. I know he had a little operation, but no sign of concern there for Urban Meyer and company. So I think he's going to be an excellent addition to this Jaguars team, and I just feel like you should watch out for Duval because he's going to be the starter right out of the gates.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. He's easily going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He should. I think
Well,
that
we'll see with that though. I don't know if
his team is not
let's
good. His team's not good, but like, I mean,
yeah, we will see. I actually think that there's a couple other guys we should look out for on
Kyle
that, but
Pitts, Chase,
yeah,
Waddle, Smith. Yeah, I mean, you're right.
100%. Let's go pick number 2, New York Jets. I'm going with Zach Wilson here. I think Justin Fields would be better, but I think Zach Wilson's my pick here. What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, I think Trey Lance is better than Zach Wilson long term.
That's a hot
But the
take.
Jets, the Jets made yeah, I mean the Jets made the trade for trading Darnold, which I think was a big time mistake. That's going to bite them in the butt because I mean, why would you give up on a quarterback? I know he's had struggles and he hasn't been as good as people say, but why would you give up on a quarterback when he's 23 years old and you still have him under contract? I know they got some capital and they wanted to make the switch, but maybe I don't. I think Saleh was fine with either of these quarterbacks, but the general manager, this is a career move for him. I mean, hopefully Wilson pans out. I hate to see the Jets being bad and bad every single year. I want them to be good.
Oh
They're
no,
like,
I love it. I absolutely love it.
love
These
it.
colors absolutely love the
Oh
Jets
yeah,
being bad every year.
it's to me, it's like the Mets. Like I root for the. I mean, I'm an Angels fan, but I root for the Mets every year because they lose every year. So
They
I mean,
don't.
So I mean,
But I almost think that Darnold needs a change of scenery as much as the Jets need a new quarterback. I feel like Darnold's kind of tied to that Gase era that they need to completely put in the rear view, just completely just take out of their minds and
that guy
pretend
was
like it didn't happen.
that guy was the worst football coach I've ever seen in my life. I don't
Well,
know
he coached
how.
my team, so I don't want to talk about it. But I just think that Zach Wilson gives Salah, or I guess Saleh. I've never heard someone call
Yeah.
him that, but you're a 49ers fan, so I'm going to defer to you.
Well, I call him Saleh. A couple of my 49ers fans call him Saleh. I don't think he doesn't do many interviews. Maybe it's what you said. I don't know, but I just call him Saleh.
Either way, I feel like they seem very attached to Wilson at this pick. I mean, he had a great pro day, even though Darnold made that pass in a game. But they seem super attached to Zach Wilson at this point. So he's my pick there. Don't know if he's better than Justin Fields. Is he your pick at number 2 as well?
Yeah, it's Wilson. I think they're really in love with him. I mean, this is like an infatuation that cannot be changed. They really love this Wilson guy. And, he obviously has a big arm. He can make big plays like Mahomes, Rodgers-esque. Like, yeah, sure.
He is small, though. He is small.
He is small, but durability is the big issue I look at, not the height. Russell Wilson has succeeded in the league. Drew Brees is
Kyler Murray.
I'm not saying he's that, but durability is the big thing. He's had 2 big surgeries already, big injuries, shoulder surgery. And I think that's going to be an issue, especially if they don't have a good line still. Their line is still god awful. So
it's awful.
It is
important to note they do have the 21st pick. They could use on a lineman if that does work out.
They have to, and if they don't, the GM should be fired right then and there because they need a lot of things, but lineman is number 1 there. Again, Wilson's going to get hurt in the first 5 games, probably, in my mind. I hope not. I hope
that's a hot take.
Well, because their line sucks, and
I know their line is terrible.
Issues. I mean,
he's a small guy too. I also think that if he's small town Utah guy going into the bright spotlight that is New York City, I don't think he's the best pick for them. And I feel like it kind of plays into Shanahan's little Mac Jones smokescreen. If that's where we're going with this, that it's a smokescreen. I know we both agree. But given that we both, I don't want to over conclude or summarize this, but I think we're both on the same wavelength that Wilson has the highest floor of any of these potential 4 first-round quarterbacks.
The highest floor, meaning
his bust potential is the highest.
Bust potential. Oh, 100%. It's not even close.
He could have the highest ceiling, but I think his bust potential is high.
No, he does not have the highest. That's the highest ceiling's Trey Lance or Lawrence. We'll get into that. Maybe even Fields, but it's not Wilson.
Well, sure. You could argue Lawrence, but I feel like the expectation is Lawrence is going to be that good. So that's what I mean. Like the expectation is already that he's going to be amazing. Whereas Zach Wilson, you really don't know. You just don't know.
Then it's Fields or Lance, but we'll get into that. Let's go to 3. I'm a Niner fan. I've been following this, like I said before, very adamant. I think this is a QL. I think the Niners are going to take Justin Fields. I'd bet it right now.
I would actually bet that as well. I think that is a lock, a questionable lock. But
look, you're not trading all these picks for Mac Jones. I'm sorry. The guy has a good completion percentage, and he's going to be Mac Jones' ceiling is Jimmy Garoppolo. That's a ceiling. They already have Jimmy Garoppolo, so they're not.
I'm not even going to say that's a hot take. That is a very valid take.
You know what I'm saying? He's good. If you put good players around him, he can complete passes. But look, he's not the guy. Whatever the media is telling you about, oh yeah, Mac Jones is going to be a great NFL quarterback. They're lying. He is the 4th round grade in my mind. The only reason why he goes first round is all the traffic being pulled.
Yeah, it's the media hype is doing its thing. Every year it does this thing. But I would say that, it's a 2nd or 3rd round guy in my eyes, but I agree with you 100%. I think Justin Fields is the pick. 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 2,100 yards. All of these statistics are behind Zach Wilson, except for in rushing. He had 383 yards rushing, I believe. But I just think the competition he faced at Indiana Northwestern, Clemson, I mean, arguably his best game came against Clemson and Alabama. No, it's 6 touchdowns.
6 touchdowns. My bad. Sorry, I undervalued him for a second.
Don't undervalue your potential guy.
6 touchdowns against arguably one of the best defenses last year.
I mean, it's a defense that, of all of the opponents that BYU has faced, none of them resemble, I would say, the worst that Justin Fields faced with the ranked competition. And maybe, I think it was Indiana was the 14th.
I mean, this happens every year. And can I say something? I've said this in my article that I have about why the Niners will take Justin Fields. But this happens every year where there's a quarterback we know is going to be great in the NFL. And everyone's just like, oh, I don't know about this guy. I don't, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, all media question marks, like just to make them fall in the draft. Like, I don't get any of this. Like I heard Dan Orlovsky come out and say like Fields has work ethic issues. Like, who told him that? Day doesn't say he has work ethic issues. His teammates say he's a leader. I don't know where these guys come up with this.
Not even his coaches at Georgia would say that, in my opinion. Not in my opinion, but from my analysis of what I've seen.
He seems like a hard worker. He's very committed and he loves football. He lives, breathes, and dies. He's been put on this pedestal since he's been 17, like Lawrence, to be a guy in the NFL. And he's going to be a guy. And especially if he gets put in Shanahan's system, they could win a Super Bowl this year with Fields as their quarterback. And that's a hot take.
So I actually think that if Fields was to go to any other system in the NFL, I don't think his chances of succeeding in his first year would be anywhere near close what they would be in Shanahan's offense. I think he could be the long-term answer for the 49ers, but I don't know if he could be the long-term answer for, honestly, let's say the Jets. I mean, they're two organizations that are completely different in terms of winning and losing and in terms of what they have. But the 49ers, they went out of their way. They made some moves and they have the 3rd overall pick. You might as well get your guy. Fields is your guy. Let's go to 4, Atlanta Falcons. Who do you have them taking?
So I know there's been a lot of speculation about Pitts here or even Trey Lance, which is just baffles me.
Yeah, we're throwing that right out the window.
That's out the window. It's Penny Sewell, I think, here, or Rashawn Slater. I have Penny Sewell here. I think Matt Ryan has a couple good years left as we've seen Brady kind of succeed at this older age. I'm not saying Ryan's Brady, but Ryan is an experienced, good quarterback.
Only 35, turning 36.
Only 35. So why would they take Lance? If they could compete, they could. I mean, the difference between them having 4 wins, 5 wins, and 7 wins could be Penny Sewell. I mean, he's a dominant lineman. And that'll boost their O-line. I think they're taking Sewell. They also need a playmaker, and I know that's where you come in with your –
Yeah. So the first pick we're disagreeing on, I have the Falcons taking Kyle Pitts. I think Pitts is the best prospect in this draft. Like, overall, I think Lawrence is the best quarterback. I think Pitts is the best prospect. He ran like a 4.38 40. He's 6'5". He is the Florida's all-time leading receiver for tight end, the best tight end prospect I've seen in years. Arthur Smith, new Falcons head coach, ran dual tight end sets in Tennessee, like 38% of the time. I think him and Hayden Hurst would be great offensive weapons for Matt Ryan. And like you said, I do agree with you. He's 35. I don't think drafting Trey Lance, the next best quarterback, would make any sense sitting under Matt Ryan for a year or two, especially when they play completely different, like 100% different. So I think they take Kyle Pitts. He had 12 touchdowns, I should say, at Florida last year. I think he lines up basically everywhere. He's a matchup nightmare. He's my 4th pick. But disagreeing from that, let's go on to 5. Who do you have the Dolphins taking? Sorry. The Bengals taking at 5. They obviously have line issues after Joe Burrow. I think tore his MCL last season or ACL last season. They have weapon issues. Who do you have them taking at 5?
So, I mean, it should be Sewell or Slater, but I have Chase because Burrow is the face. They're going to do what Burrow says, and Burrow wants his guy. At the end of the day,
I agree.
I don't think there's any other way of describing it. Burrow wants his guy. He's going to get his guy. He's their organization.
I actually agree with you 100%. I think the smart pick, like what the Jets, the smart pick would be Justin Fields. The smart pick here is either Slater or Sewell, depending on who's on the board. But I think if Mr. Ohio wants his guy, he's going to get his guy. So we're in agreement there. Also, though, just quick shout out Jamar Chase, best receiver in this draft. For a while, I had Devontae Smith ahead of him, but Chase is just too good. He took 2020 off. He smashed SEC records in 2019. Didn't get a chance to compete with Smith, who broke the records this year, this season because of the opt out. But he is an absolute nightmare. I think he's going to look great in Cincinnati.
I agree with you. Who you got at number 6?
So Dolphins. I have Sewell, Slater on the board. Dolphins have weapon issues as well as line issues, similar to the Bengals. Smith, Waddle still on the board. I'm taking Rashawn Slater. I think that it's the best pick for the Dolphins, given that Slater openly said he could play guard. He would be willing to play guard in the NFL. And they drafted left tackle Austin Jackson out of USC last year. They have guard issues. I think it would be perfect to build a great offensive line around Tua. I mean, they could get a weapon in the 18th pick, which we'll talk about later. We both have agreement there. But yeah, I think Slater's the pick here. He has great tape against Chase Young. I think he'll look great in the aqua and orange. What do you think?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think Tua is another injury-ridden quarterback, tiny like Zach Wilson, but can do more things than Zach Wilson. Let's be fair to Tua here. 100%. Give him the respect he deserves. Tua, what's separating the Dolphins from being a fringe playoff team and being in the playoffs and competing is they're a playmaker and a lineman away, basically. So I think you either go, I know you had Kyle Pitts at 4. I have Kyle Pitts at 6 to the Dolphins.
Absolutely love that.
I think Kyle Pitts, if he's not falling past 6, Dolphins are taking him if he's available. He's that game changer, and it would be Tua's favorite target. That'd be his best target.
And that would be his best target.
I think Kyle Pitts is the best prospect in the draft, better than Lawrence. I know that's a quote hot take,
Definitely a hot take, but I do think that Kyle Pitts offers something that I feel like Trevor Lawrence, what you're going to get. Pitts, what you're going to get, but Lawrence, he's a quarterback. He's getting thrown to the wolves.
No, Pitts is going to be George Kittle with better receiving skills. Basically, he's going to be one of the best players in the league.
No, I agree with you. I would love that if Slater and Pitts were available at the spot, they would have to take Pitts. Even though they have Mike Gesicki, I think that Pitts would be.
You can
like
always
the best fall of a draft prospect I've seen in memory. If he makes it to 6,
you can always take the lineman at 20. What's their next pick? 21.
I think it's 18.
18. Yeah. You could take Vera Tucker if he's available there. You could take.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be available, but we will definitely see.
You know what I'm saying? So I have Pitts. What do you have number 7?
So for 7, Lions, I have Devontae Smith, Heisman winner. I'm not buying all of this media talk that he's going to fall because of his weight issues. He's 6'1", like 170. He is skinny, but the guy just won the Heisman. Like, for Christ's sake, when's the last time a wide receiver has won the Heisman? And I just think that, Alabama did have a stacked team, but he was the best wide receiver by far. Jalen Waddle got injured, obviously. I just think that the Lions need an offensive identity, and it comes with Goff. I don't think drafting a quarterback makes any sense given how much first-round picks they have in the next couple of years. What do you think?
I agree. I have Smith. Anybody, again, media members telling you on TV shows, Jalen Waddle's better than what are they smoking? Devontae Smith won the Heisman by a landslide. First receiver to do that in a long time, by the way. And he was the most dominant receiver in football. Better than Jamar Chase as a prospect in my mind. Will be better in the NFL than Jamar Chase, assuming Jared Goff can actually throw a football for once. Chase is going to have Burrows 10 times the quarterback Goff is already.
Yeah, you could make the argument 15 times, but
it's
redundant.
Smith is the guy. I don't know why these media members are lying to fans that Smith is going to fall.
So like he's 15th or 20 pick.
So dominant. So dominant. This is like last year when Judy, Jefferson, and Ayuk. Yeah, go ahead.
No. Keep going.
I was saying this is when like Judy, Jefferson, Ayuk, CD all dropped, and they took Ruggs at 11. Like Ruggs was the better. Ruggs was never a better player than those other 5 guys. Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously it's the Raiders. They always make bad picks. But talk about the biggest fraud in the history of fraud. And it's not Bernie Madoff. It's giving John Gruden $100 million plus. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, no offense.
And ownership stake.
Exactly. I don't know what they were doing.
Al Davis Jr. smoking something.
I mean, he was incompetent since the day he was born. He came out of the womb incompetent, okay? But Detroit is going to take Devontae Smith, assuming he's available. So
I agree with you. Let's go to 8, Carolina. Who do you got them taking?
Jalen Waddle. I do. I think Carolina is going to want to get an O-lineman might be good here, but I think they're going to want to get Sam Darnold some more weapons. And I think and McCaffrey. Sorry, I mean McCaffrey's basically as valuable as a QB. He's that good of a running back. So I mean, you want to give those guys, put some pressure off of them, get them more playmakers. I think Waddle's the guy here.
So while we have different picks, it's kind of the same reasoning. I have Penei Sewell going here, one of my fallers for this draft. He had a 95 Pro Football Focus, I think, rushing rating at Oregon. I think it's perfect for McCaffrey and for Darnold. He gets his fresh start. I have Sewell going here. I think one of the best linemen I've seen come out of the draft in a while. I just think that for certain reasons, the Dolphins had to go with Slater. I think Sewell is fantastic for the Panthers here. Let's go to 9, Denver Broncos. Who do you got going here?
Yeah, I got Trey Lance. I think this is actually – and look, Denver has had a terrible track record of taking quarterbacks to the point where John Elway should look at himself in the mirror and be like –
well, Elway's gone. Elway stepped down.
Thank God. Thank God. He can't draft a quarterback to save his life.
His best quarterback pick was Tebow. And Tebow got him to the playoffs at least one year. So
keep Tebow. Tebow was a guy, he couldn't really play football that well, but he had this like energy.
Yeah, he could certainly fire up a locker room. That is for sure.
And he won them a playoff game, something they hadn't done. And, Manning was obviously, they won a Super Bowl with him, but they could have had a monkey playing quarterback and they would have won the Super Bowl with that defense. But yeah, I mean, I think this is the first good quarterback pick they've had in years. I think Lance's upside is extremely high. I do not think he's going to be a bust. He could be. He's the draft's biggest enigma, as many people say. He has the cupcake schedule, awful competition. Look at how Carson Wentz is doing. And then
not doing well.
Right. I mean, but I honestly think Lance could be a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. And I know Carson Wentz almost won an MVP his second year in the league. And he probably would have, assuming he didn't get hurt on that Super Bowl team. But I mean, look, he's fallen off, but Lance has all the tools in the making of a great quarterback. He's got the size, the arm strength, the running. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Although I QL Justin Fields at 3, the second guy, if I'm the Niners, I'd take is Lance, besides Justin Fields. Like, I don't think Mac Jones.
Well, yeah, the drop off between 3 and 4 is so significant that you would have to take Trey Lance. But I also think that if you have the pick of the litter, you take Fields.
I agree with you, but Trey Lance is the guy, and I think he's the guy for the Broncos' future. And I think this is going to be a fantastic pick. I gave him an A++ selection, but he's going to have to sit out next year in the NFL to develop.
So I think for that reason, the fact that if you draft Trey Lance here, he would probably be the starting quarterback. I mean, I don't think Drew Lock would beat him out. I have the Denver Broncos taking Micah Parsons. Reload on this defense. I mean, they've had a defensive identity, like a pro defensive identity for the last 6 years. Last season, injuries kind of took that away from them. I think Vic Fangio, the head coach, needs to rebuild this, especially with Von Miller's future with the team up in the air. I mean, they talked about potentially trading him. There was an investigation into him. And then that being said, if nothing happens, if they end up keeping Von Miller, getting a freakishly, I don't know why I said freakishly, but getting an athletic linebacker like Micah Parsons in there from Penn State.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It's something in the air. I think it's the Zach Wilson in the air. I don't know. It caught me on the freakishly. It's getting harder and harder to say that when you're getting this far down in the Broncos. But I think Michael Parsons would be a great fit for this team. I think he's a good linebacker from Penn State. He would line up really good with Von Miller. If Von Miller's not there, he's a good replacement for him. I think they go Micah Parsons at 9.
Yeah, I think Micah Parsons is great. That's definitely an option, but I still have them going QB. I mean, they need a quarterback. I mean,
Oh
of
yeah,
course,
they
they
definitely
could take
do.
Mills or Trask in round 2 or 3, but I think they go Lance here. Or if Fields is available and this media hype is true, which I doubt he will be, they're going to take Fields here for
Yeah,
sure.
I don't think Fields will fall that far. But let's go to
Yeah.
pick 10. Who do you got for 10?
Patrick Surtain,
Yeah.
cornerback from Alabama. I've heard him linked to the Cowboys since day one of scouting, and I don't think it's going to change. I think Jerry Jones wants this elite corner. Look, is he Jeff Okudah? No. I mean, although Jeff Okudah didn't have the greatest rookie season, Jeff Okudah is still one of the best cornerback prospects in recent memory. He's not shut down like that, but he'll be good, and they need help. Assuming they need immediate needs. They're trying to make the playoffs in the worst division in football, and they very well could, but they need a better defense. Their defense is terrible.
So I
Position.
I agree with you. Different cornerback. I got J.C. Horn. He's my biggest riser of the draft. 33% completion rating for opposing quarterbacks on him last season. Patrick Surtain. He's also longer than Patrick Surtain, faster than him in the 40. I think that he's the biggest riser. His dad has NFL blood. He was an NFL receiver. I think it translates well. I think J.C. Horn is the pick here.
Yeah, see, that's where we disagree. I think J.C. Horn's overrated. I'm probably wrong. I think Surtain and Farley are better, but
well, Farley was my original pick here, but with his back surgery, I think he falls. I feel like if you have a back surgery, I don't care if someone says it's minor, it's back surgery. So that's why I'm going here. Let's go to 11 New York Giants. I'm going Jalen Waddle. I know he's off your board already. 5'10", 170, perfect slot receiver for the NFL, coming off a torn ACL. Could have been that Heisman guy this year if Smith wasn't there. Who you got at 11 with Waddle off the board?
I think I have a trade. I think the Giants trade with the Patriots, swap 11 and 15. I think the Patriots select.
Don't say it. I already know what you're going to say.
Yeah, I think they select Mac Jones, Patriots, 11th overall. God. And I know I don't like Mac Jones, but I mean, in Belichick's system, he completes a lot of passes.
Belichick was shaking his head at his pro day. He's overthrowing 6 or 7 passes out of 30.
But what other quarterback is available here?
Well, for me, Trey Lance. For you, nobody.
Yes, then that's who you pick if he's available. But he's off in my mind, so you pick Mac Jones. I mean, I get Cam Newton. Okay. I don't know why. I mean, he had a miserable year last year. Again, it's not all of his. It's not all him. They have a ton of issues last year. But Mac Jones completes passes that Cam Newton doesn't anymore. Cam Newton is a threat to run the ball. He is very athletic, one of the freakishly best athletes in the history of the sport. But, I mean, look, he can't throw the football anymore. I don't know if anybody watches NFL football anymore, but why give that guy $10 million? I hate to say it. He cannot throw the football. Mac Jones can.
Would you think that Mac Jones would beat him out for the starting position this season?
Not necessarily, because they've committed that money to Cam. I think they'd have him learn how to scramble, because he's a Tom Brady type quarterback. I'm not obviously not even close to being as good as Tom Brady, but Mac Jones is a guy that's not that quick, kind of relies on completion percentage and his people, getting his guys, putting the ball where he wants it. But I mean, look, I think that's Belichick's kind of quarterback. I think he'd like Mac Jones a lot, and he'd be able to work with him. I know he's shaking his head. Trey Lance could also be a pick here, but that's what I have.
Well, I should have taken into mind that for you, Trey Lance is off the boards. Let's go to 12, though. I do agree with you. Patriots need a pick. 12. Who do you got at 12?
I have the Eagles taking Parsons, and I know you had Parsons off the board at 9. Was it to the Broncos?
Yep, to the Broncos.
Okay, but yeah, he's the best linebacker in the draft.
It's not close. I already know what you're going to say. It's not close, but the freezing service is not going to make me think that Micah Parsons wouldn't be literally a great addition to the Eagles here.
Yeah, sorry about that. Some Wi-Fi issues, but yeah, Micah Parsons is great. They could go Slater here because I still have Slater here. I don't think he falls this in retrospect. I think he's rising, and some team's going to take him high. But they could go Slater or Parsons here, but I think they go Parsons. They need an elite linebacker. I think he can do that.
He can do it.
I know that he's very similar to can you hear me? Yeah, he's very similar to whatever his name is, Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons had a bad rookie year, right? I mean, that was the whole deal.
For the Cardinals.
people thought he was a sure thing being a linebacker in the top 10. Like,
Yeah, but
oh,
he also didn't have a position. He had multiple positions at Clemson. He kind of do it all. Whereas Michael Parsons has been a linebacker. I mean, he's kind of newer to the position, but at Penn State, he was a linebacker for,
I think
2
Michael
years.
Parsons will be better at the linebacker position in the NFL than Isaiah Simmons. I do. And I think this is a smart pick. I mean, the Eagles need to fill a lot of holes. They could try and pair someone with Jalen Rieger, but since Waddle, Smith, Pitts, all the Chase, top 4 receivers are off the board, you're not going to take Bateman or anybody this high, you know?
Yeah.
So I think Parsons is the move.
Okay, so I'm actually going Patrick Surtain the second here. I think this could be a really good value grab for the Eagles. Surtain could be a top 10 pick. You had him going 10 to the Cowboys. I have him going 12. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. He's a lengthy guy. You could argue his 2019 season was better than his 2020 season. And he kind of went, in terms of how good his 2019 production was, kind of regressed a little bit, but still a very good cornerback, ready for the NFL. He's my pick for the Eagles here. Let's go Chargers 13. Who you got?
Slater. So I know you have Slater off the board way earlier. I think if Slater falls to 13, the Chargers get the biggest steal in the draft at 13 with Slater.
Yeah, that would be a steal. That would be a big steal.
You know, I mean, I just think that's my reasoning. I mean, it's Slater here if he's available. What about you?
I have Elijah Vera Tucker. I think he's the third best lineman prospect in this draft. They certainly need help. They need to protect Justin Herbert. And yeah, that's the pick there.
I agree with you.
Let's go.
Great.
Yeah, he'd be a great value grab for the Chargers there. 14. Who you got?
Kwity Paye or Paye. Is that how do you pronounce it?
I think it's Kwity Paye. Kwity
Paye. Yeah.
Great story. Great story. Mom from Nigeria. Great story.
Yeah, fantastic story.
Liberia.
Yeah, fantastic story. And he's an edge, and he is going to be an absolute beast in the NFL. I don't care.
Vikings, they need the help too.
And they need the help. They needed the help. He's easily the best pass rusher in the draft, in my opinion. And I don't think they trade down. I know a lot of outlets have said Vikings are going to trade down, for like picks in the second and third round. I don't see that happening. I think this guy's the pick. He's going to be dominant, and they really need to get back to that dominant defense they had a couple of years ago. And I think this is the step
100%.
in the right direction. Yeah.
100%. So being that we both agree on that, let's go the Patriots at 15 or the Giants in your scenario. I have Patriots taking Trey Lance. I think this would be great for the Patriots, especially with Cam Newton. I feel like it makes the Cam Newton signing, it makes it make sense. Who do you got the Giants taking?
I mean, that'd be an A++ pick if Trey Lance falls to 15. I don't see that happening. But
he's my big follower. I mean, who you got at 15 for Giants?
I have Vera Tucker, third best lineman in the draft. I had Slater at 13 of the Chargers. You had Vera Tucker. Vera Tucker is, he's just really good at what he does. I mean, that's the reasoning. The Giants need to protect Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. If anybody watched the first games when Barkley was playing before he got hurt, one of the worst O-lines in the league. Couldn't protect anybody. So, I mean, they need to upgrade there. And that's why I have Vera Tucker going 15 to the Giants, assuming that trade happens between the Patriots.
Okay, let's go 16 Arizona Cardinals. Who you got?
So another O-lineman. I have Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech.
Big guy. He's a big boy.
He's a big boy. My reasoning here is with Vera Tucker, Slater, Sewell off the board, Cardinals still need to protect Kyler Murray. They need, they don't have a terrible offensive line, but I think it can improve, and I think it could make Kyler Murray that much better. I mean, and avoid injury. So that's my reasoning. Who do you have the Cardinals taking?
So this is a big reach for me, but or for the Cardinals, for in this mock draft so far, I have them going Kadarius Toney from Florida, 6-foot guy. He's 2 inches bigger than Tyreek Hill. Kind of gives me the Tyreek Hill vibe. Fast guy. I also think the Cardinals have no tight end. They lost Larry Fitzgerald to free agency. To retirement. They got AJ Green in free agency. I think surrounding Kyler with weapons is the way they're gonna go. I don't know if it's necessarily the right way to go. I have them getting Toney at 16. What do you think?
They don't need weapons offensively as much as they need an offensive lineman. Like, look, I mean, I said they're going to pick Darisaw, but Tony is great, but I just can't see a receiver going after the four big. I mean, if you consider Pitts a receiver, I don't see anybody getting picked that's a receiver after Pitts, Chase, Waddle, and Smith until late in the first round. I don't.
There are a lot of good picks though at wide receiver. I mean, Rashad Bateman's a good receiver. Elijah Moore will miss. There's a lot of good receivers in this draft. I think Kadarius Toney is going to rise. This is a reach for me at this spot, but I think the Cardinals.
I don't think it's a reach. I think he's arguably the fourth, fifth best receiver in the draft. He's really been a riser. I mean, I don't think he was.
Certainly. I just don't know if the Cardinals. Look, you said they need offensive line issues. The way that Kyler Murray runs, I don't know if he can have too many weapons if he's scrambling all over the field. And especially a guy like Kadarius Toney, where these receivers I feel like are coming in nowadays, and you're gonna miss Larry Fitzgerald. So you got this new young fast kid who comes in from Florida, who's certainly a problem at Florida. I think him and Kyler are going to be great in the NFL. That's why I got him going 16. But
that makes sense. But I mean, it also fits what Kingsbury's trying to do. But
yeah, with his air raid-esque. I don't even know what you call it. I guess offensive scheme is air raid. I mean, he's been doing it at Texas Tech. I mean, he's going to do it at SC. He's been doing it in the NFL to mixed success.
Yeah, I think they have the weapons they need. I just think they need to protect Kyler Murray.
Let's go 17, Las Vegas Raiders. I got them taking linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I hope I said that right, from Notre Dame. This Gus Bradley needs weapons for this defense, and they were a dumpster fire last season of a defense. I mean, the fact that they need a lot of help Jets. Yeah, they need help on defense. I say they go linebacker here. What do you think? This would be also, I just want to say, a surprisingly good pick for Gruden. Who do you got?
I don't think it's going to be a good pick. I mean, you might disagree because you have Horn going 10. I have Horn going here when I think Caleb Farley should be the pick here. I'm not as high on Horn as others.
Me. I'll say as me.
But you're right. I mean, if they draft Horn or Owosu, Karanoa or whatever, I mean, that's a value pick. And I just don't trust the Raiders to make these kind of value picks. But I think they do take a corner. I think they do.
They need help on all sides of the defensive ball. So definitely. I think either they take corner, linebacker, defensive end. That can be all of it. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if you see Gregory Rousseau or Jalen Phillips go here. But let's go to 18 for a pick that we both agree on. Miami Dolphins, Najee Harris, which would be solve a problem that has plagued the Dolphins for maybe the last 7 years without Reggie Bush. I think Najee he reminds me of like a LeGarrette Blount, but just faster. And I think he's going to be a problem in this league. I think taking a first round running back is always kind of, risky, but I think it pays off with Najee, especially after winning the national championship and hurdling defenders in the playoff. What do you think? I think you have Najee too, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I think I have Kyle Pitts as their previous pick and Najee Harris. I think they address both of those needs and pick linemen in the next couple of rounds. I really do.
Najee wouldn't mind that either.
Yeah, Najee Harris is going to be dominant. What are people doing? Again, I know it's risky to take a running back in the first round, but he's as dominant. He's put on as dominant as a running back campaign as we've seen in the last couple of years. No, I mean, look, I know he gets overlooked because of Smith, Waddle, and Jones, right, in that offense, but this dude's going to enter the league a top 12 running back. I just think that's I think he's going to be dominant, and that's what they need. I don't think Myles Gaskin gets it done. I don't.
He doesn't, and also Myles Gaskin could be a good number 2 option when you have a big ass Najee Harris as your number 1 option. So I feel like it kind of fits.
Najee Harris is discount Derrick Henry in my mind. Discount Derrick Henry.
Hey, I will take that as a Dolphin fan. I'll take that. Let's go to 19. I'm taking somebody you already took, but who do you got at 19?
I got Owosu-Koramoah.
2 picks after.
Again, I know you had him a couple picks ago. The Washington football team is I mean, they should have a name by now first.
I actually love their name. I think Washington football name is awesome. I think it's a great
Really?
name.
Really?
Yeah, I think I may be one of the few people who actually likes it. I think it is funny. So, anyways, that'll be a different
What do you
discussion.
call them? Football team is playing.
Football team, exactly. Exactly. I think it's the best part about it.
It's better than the Redskins, that's for sure, which for years Snyder disregarded what the Native Americans were telling him. Like this is
But before we tangent on potential names, because I know that's the road we would go down. I mean, naturally. Who do you got at 19?
Yeah, Karamoa, Owosu Karamoa. I think he's a great linebacker. We had him a couple picks earlier. I think they need linebacker help. Depth would be good to an already pretty good defense. I think he's the guy there.
So I'm going offense. I'm going Christian Darrisaw, Virginia Tech. The big boy is getting taken here. I think for a football team, they need a lineman to build around a potential quarterback. I was almost thinking quarterback because I still have Mac on the board, but he's coming off soon. I think that getting Darrisaw allows them to bulk up and potentially give Heineke, I guess, a chance at being QB1. We will see.
Heineke's better than people think.
I think he's better than Mac Jones. That's why I don't think they take Mac Jones.
Yeah.
I think it could be enticing.
What about
20 Chicago Bears. I'm taking Mac Jones out of Alabama. I think the Bears need a quarterback. I don't think they have any room to not have one. I mean, I don't know who they have. Nick Foles on their roster right now, if they even have that. I think he's still on there. But
they signed someone else to be the quarterback this year.
Oh, Andy Dalton. Yeah. I don't know if Andy Dalton QB1 gets the job done, especially with the fan backlash. But who do you have the Bears taking here at 20?
So I don't like Jones. I think he's already off the board. So is Lance. So are all these guys. So, I mean, they need wide receiver help. Allen Robinson can't do everything. Take Rashad Bateman or Tooney, but I have Bateman here. I know they've been linked to him for a while as looking at him. They haven't been as linked to Tony. So Bateman's fairly large, 6'2", 210 pounds, very quick, good route runner. I think they get the wide receiver help they need in the first round, kind of address it. I mean, I think they go Davis Mills in the second round, assuming Davis Mills is available. So I like the receiver pick here. Okay.
Let's go to 21 after Chicago pick 20. Let's go 20. Who you got at 21?
Gregory Rousseau,
Okay.
6'6", 260 pounds, defensive end / edge, whatever people want to position him, from Miami. I mean, they could go O-line here or another edge, but I think they'll surprise people, take Rousseau over Zaven Collins and his own teammate, Jalen Phillips. I really think Rousseau is good.
So I'm actually going with his Miami teammate, Jalen Phillips, who I feel like Rousseau and Phillips are almost interchangeable in how good they are. I mean, Rousseau is 6'6". He's gigantic. Phillips is 6'5". Actually, Rousseau might be 6'7". I just feel like Phillips is I feel like he's a more polished runner in terms of just being able to break like offensive lines and being able to literally just dominate. Miami, the defensive line for Miami, people I feel like do not realize how good they were in 2019. I know Rousseau in 2020. I don't know if he played. I don't think he played in 2020. But given what they were in 2019, I think either of these picks is fantastic. I think they both go first round. I think Jalen Phillips is the pick here at 21.
Okay. And by the way, Jalen Phillips, another reason why UCLA football can succeed. Transfer from UCLA, Miami.
Yeah.
It's been good to have for UCLA to have first rounder, but UCLA is a basketball school. We all know that.
Yeah, that's true. They're not a football school. Let's go to
there will be
22.
I have Kadarius Toney.
Okay.
I do. I think
22 is Titans, so
Titans.
They get their guy.
Yeah. I think they need to take more pressure off of Henry and AJ Brown. Those two guys can't do everything with Tannehill. I mean, their other receivers. I don't care what anybody says. Their other receivers are not that good. I don't care what everybody says. They're just not. AJ Brown is the only really great receiver on the team. Toney provides depth at the receiver position, takes pressure off of Henry, allows Tannehill to throw more passes. And Tannehill, I used to be extremely skeptical of him, and he's gotten better every year. And I think another receiver will make him get even better.
So my feelings of Tannehill. I'm a Dolphins fan. I enjoy when he succeeds. I think he's a good game manager with the Titans. I think when you lose Adoree Jackson to the Giants in the offseason, you have to go corner. I'm going Greg Newsome the second here, a guy who's flying up draft boards. I think that he's the Northwestern product. He's a big guy, he's 6'2". I think he can start right out of the gate. I think there might be a little bit of a learning curve. Caleb Farley could be the pick here for corner two. I mean, he was one of my top corners in this draft. He, like I've said multiple times, does need back surgery. So I think they go Greg Newsome the second, and that's who I think Tennessee gets there. But
yeah, I don't even have Newsome in the first round. Probably should. I just had the other cornerbacks taken.
Yeah, you should watch his tape at Northwestern. He actually can lock people down. He had a good game against Ohio State too. But for time, go shoot.
I was just saying, like, and he could go 17 to the, or is it 17 that the Raiders have?
Yeah, they have 17.
He could go 17 to the Raiders. I see that too, but
yeah. So let's go to 23. Who do you got 23?
Tevin Jenkins, O-line, Oklahoma State, 6'6", 320 pounds, big dude.
Big guy.
Protect Zach Wilson, injury-prone guy. Protect Zach Wilson. That's the goal, and that's what they're going to do here.
I think they're getting Jamin Davis. This is one we talked about this earlier. Kentucky guy, big guy. They need all the help on defense they can get. Sele, he gets his guy, or he gets a big guy to put in this new defense. I mean, they're trying to revamp it up. He's a defensive-minded guy coming from 49ers. I think they get Jamin Davis. They certainly need help on the offensive line now. So I see where you're going with that. But let's go to 24. That's where I got Tevin Jenkins going. I think that, like you said, he's a big-ass dude, and he is also a really good offensive lineman. So I think his intangibles also meet what's necessary in the NFL. So I don't know. Who do you got at 24?
Jalen Phillips. I know he went off your board a couple picks earlier. I mean, I think Jalen Phillips is also 6'6". I think he's bigger than Rousseau, 6'6", 266.
They're both just the most dominant defensive ends I've seen in so long.
Yeah, they're both great. And it makes me wonder why Miami wasn't better. I know, was it Phillips who opted out, or was it Rousseau who opted out?
I think Rousseau opted out for 2020.
See,
so Phillips without Rousseau had, I think, 8 sacks last year, or 6 sacks. Yeah, 8 sacks in 2020.
Yeah, I think Phillips is rising. He might go ahead Rousseau, but I have the Steelers taking Phillips.
Okay, there you go. I got them taking Jenkins. Let's go 25. Jaguars have their second first-round pick of this draft. I got them taking the best safety in this draft, and Trayvon Moehrig out of TCU, 6'2", 203. Looks like a guy who can start right out of the gate. So, I mean, first round for the Jaguars, already getting 2 starters. Who do you think the Jags are taking?
Same pick. Trayvon Moehrig.
There you go.
Most dominant, complete safety in the draft. Will start right away. I mean, the Jaguars' defense, in the back of their defense, safety.
They need help.
They need
help. Secondary is like non-existent.
Secondary is terrible. I think Moehrig. I think this is QL.
Oh, I think so as well. I think this is a QL. I'll lock that in as a QL. Other than Fields at 3, I really like Fields at 3 for the QL. But
yeah, QL.
Let's go. Let's go 26. I got Gregory Rousseau. In retrospect, I don't know if he falls this far because I think that he's going to be an absolute monster. I had him in the top 5 way earlier in this year, but I have him all the way at 26 now. Who do you have at 26?
So I have a guy you had going off the board a little earlier. Jamin Davis?
Yeah, Jamin Davis.
Yeah, Jamin Davis. He's an absolute freak of an athlete, beast. 0% body fat almost. Like he's just, you could see his veins and his muscles popping, rushes the quarterback. Browns need to bolster their defense even further to make it to the Super Bowl, or at least make a deep playoff run. And I think they do that here. Imagine pairing him with Myles Garrett and the other guys they have, the front 7, putting him right there in the linebacker position.
A problem.
It's a problem.
He also, funny enough, he got 3 interceptions and he returned 1 for a touchdown in his time in Kentucky this season. And he had 105 tackles. Like, he was leading the team in tackles. I think he's a great linebacker. I feel like I guess he's not being slept on so much anymore.
He is. A lot of mocks don't even have him in the first round or the second round.
But I didn't even hear about his name until maybe the last couple of weeks when with the pro day and all that stuff. So I'm glad to see a guy get the
Yeah.
recognition he deserves. Well, let's go to 27. I got
Definitely.
Jason. Oh, what, you cut out? All right, 27. We're going Jason Oweh, Penn State edge. He's jumping up boards too. I think Ravens get their guy here. They lost Yannick Ngakoue. Hopefully I said that right. And Matthew Judon. I think they add an edge here. They also could go wide receiver. I could like Rashad Bateman at the spot. No, he's off your boards. Who do you have the Ravens taking at 27?
Yeah, the more I think about it, I mean, Rashad Bateman, I mean, he's off in my mind, but and Tooney, but they could go someone here because their offense needs a lot of work. They need to get Lamar Jackson some help other than
they do.
Self-proclaimed Hollywood Brown. I don't think he's much Hollywood. He's okay. He's a decent receiver, but he's not Hollywood. But look, I think they go an edge here. I have Azeez Ojulari.
Georgia guy.
Yeah, Georgia guy, and he's a beast. 6'2", 250. Just really, really good at what he does. At, rushing the quarterback. And the Ravens have made it clear they want a dominant edge like Terrell Suggs, and I don't think he's that, but he's very good, and he'll be the best edge available here, unless you're saying Oweh. Is Oweh an edge? He's an edge.
Yeah. Jason Oweh.
That's another pick that could be here, but I have Azeez going here.
Let's go 28. I'm taking Zaven Collins. He's an outside linebacker from Tulsa. Not a lot of guys or not a lot of people know his name. I feel like he's a freakish athlete. He's 6'4", 260. He can kind of do it all at Tulsa.
Do it all,
and
yeah.
I think he's a good late first round pick here.
Yeah, I have Collins going in a couple of picks. I have Caleb Farley here.
Okay.
Who I think falls because of his back surgery. But he is still the most potential of any of those corners.
100%. Virginia Tech. He's my next pick. So we can just plug him now because he is an absolute freak. And I think whatever spot he goes, 28, 29, someone's going to get a freaking day one starter out of this guy. Granted, he's healthy. I think he's a day one starter in this league for a while.
Yeah. Also, I just noticed I have 2 28 overall picks and then a 30 in my on my site.
There you go. So I guess you're going to have to decide.
There we go. I had to make some last minute edits. I hate when you do that, when you put in the picture and it's like,
there you go. You got to pick. You got to pick one of them. You can't get two. But so who do you got at 29? I already said I have Caleb Farley. Who do you got?
Yeah. I have Zaven Collins, who you had a couple picks earlier.
Okay, so it's interchangeable. No, I had it last pick, so we're both on the same page.
Yeah.
There you go. Right? There you go. There you go.
Zaven Collins is going to be a Pro Bowler. That's a hot take.
All right. Well, honestly, I kind of agree with you, so I don't even know if it's too hot. These Tulsa guys kind of come out of – they come out – not specifically Tulsa, but some of these athletes just come out of these –
Khalil Mack from Buffalo. And
yeah, exactly. I feel like Zaven Collins is a name to remember.
Where did Kuechly play?
Oh, I have no idea.
You know what I mean? These guys come out of nowhere.
They come out of nowhere.
I know, but we got a 30.
30. I got Elijah Moore from Ole Miss. I think people sleep on him. He is an absolute – well, I've already said freak 3 times, but I'm going to find a synonym for freak. I'm going to say that he is an absolute prodigy, and I think that he has dealt with enough adversity at Ole Miss that anyone could have ever dealt with in their entire life after running into the end zone with double overtime and throwing the ball before he crossed the plane to lose the game.
I remember that.
Look, this kid is battle tested after that. I think he'll be perfect in the NFL, and I think he's gonna shock some people in my mind.
Also, he's from Ole Miss, right?
Hmm.
So that's Lane Kiffin for Ole Miss.
Well, now it is Lane Kiffin, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, last year is Lane Kiffin.
Something to check for the next mock draft, assuming he gets more consistent, because he has a heck of an arm. Is Matt Corral? Heck of an arm. Heck of an arm. Very inconsistent. Heck of an arm, though. He does, and he was forget,
a top rated
5-star recruit.
Yeah.
So, at 30, the Bill. Yeah.
Yeah. Who you got at 30? Who you got the Bills taking?
I have them taking Christian Barmore, defensive tackle, junior Alabama.
He fits in well with them.
Simply because I think they need to address the depth for the defense. It was exposed to the Chiefs in the championship game. especially the front seven who could not get to Mahomes the whole game, right? So I think that's the move here. They could go receiver, but does Allen need more weapons? I mean, he almost won the MVP with just the little white guy, whatever his name is. What's his name again?
Cole Beasley? Oh, no.
He's-
Is it? Yeah, Cole Beasley.
it's
Cole Beasley.
He's great with Beasley and Diggs. So
Cole Beasley's getting old, though. He's got to be, 33 years old?
I love the guy. I think he'll play till he's 40.
Oh, I think he's a great player. I just feel like, I don't know. I've heard connections between Elijah Moore and the Bills. We will see, because I agree with you. Their offense was not the problem. But
and their defense was supposed to be the best in the league, or one up there. And
one of the best.
They did really well, but they got exposed. Their front seven.
They
and
did
I think
get exposed.
Yeah.
I don't think when we get to these last couple picks in the first round, I feel like some of these could be value grabs. So I took Elijah Moore, but I do see what you're saying, because they are a contending team and need help. Well, let's go to 31. I got a guy you took, Georgia. The edge rusher is Azeez Ojulari. Yeah, I mean, he's tested. I mean, he was in the SEC. I mean, he's played against the best of the offenses in Alabama and Florida and all those teams. I think he would be a great addition here to the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs defense can only get better, especially after getting absolutely exposed in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, I have the guy. We swapped our picks. I have Oweh here, not as deep. So I think Oweh falls, and this is a match made in heaven for the Chiefs, who obviously need to improve their defense more so than their elite offense, one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think they do that with Oweh. I mean, value picks, we don't really know. No one really knows. Once you get into the 20s and 30, you don't really know what's going to happen. They could be a fourth rounder that slides into the first round,
Okay, let's go. Our last pick, 32. Who you got? Tampa Bay reigning champs.
I think they take the offensive lineman from Texas. I think they protect Tom Brady, Samuel Cosme, 6'6", 6'7", 300 pounds. I think protect Tom Brady. I know there's other stuff they could do here. Their O-line wasn't bad, but improve it. Get it more depth.
So I'm going secondary here. Asante Samuel Jr. from Florida State, another NFL blood guy. I do see what you're saying with their offensive line. They did take an offensive lineman in the first round. Last season, I felt their only weakness with the defense definitely wasn't the front, and it definitely wasn't the middle. I think it was the secondary. So I'm saying they get a cornerback, and Asante Samuel, kind of a small guy, but was a leader at Florida State and a guy who could definitely grow into a really good top perennial corner.
Yeah, well, there you go. There's our third. And hey, before we end this, I wanted to ask, who are your second round QBs or quote big time positions? Fun
for the second round.
Yeah, for the second round.
Well, I didn't mention Christian Barmore in my draft. I think he was going to be a really good pick in the second round. I also think that as far as quarterbacks, I don't think that Trask. I don't think he's a second rounder. I think he could be a third rounder. There is talk the Saints like him. Other than that, I don't think Kellen Mond deserves to be in the top 6 rounds of this draft. I'm trying to think of other quarterbacks.
Yeah, he's not good at all. I mean, I disagree with you on Trask, but
what do you think? Second round for Trask?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did you see the first half of his season? I mean, who else did he have?
Oh, yeah. No.
Tony
he was going off. He also
Tony and Pitts are great, but I mean, look, I know he had a terrible bowl game when Pitts.
No, he did. He did.
But I think he's 6'5", and he had a great year. I mean, he was going to win the Heisman up until the last couple games.
For the most part. Yeah, but he single-handedly blew his own Heisman chances. He had 3 interceptions in a game against, I forget who, LSU, I think. They lost LSU. He had 3 interceptions.
It was a weird game because they were ranked time.
So I just think there's a lot of question marks for this draft, but I'm glad you joined me today so we can talk through all 32 of them. We had a lot of similarities, a lot of differences, so always good to have you on, and maybe we can do this one more time before the draft, April 29th.
Definitely. We should do a draft special.
Yeah, and as always, this is Questionable Lock. Special thanks to Brandon Deutsch. I'm Carson Marsh. Thank you, guys. Check out the website, all of the above, Instagram, Twitter, and see you guys.
Go Niners.